Oh, hello, darlings. There you are. Bear with. Excellent. And the microphone is on, jolly good. And there are 11 of you watching. This is absolutely splendid. Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Wednesday Night Live with me, Boaty. And I'm going to be coming into any orifice of yours that I damn well fancy over the next 59 minutes. And I don't mind telling you, my little bowls of angel delight, that I am feeling particularly splendid this evening. Now, imagine feeling splendid, and then imagine that somebody gave you an extra portion of splendiferousness, splendiferousness. And then imagine that on top of your splendiferousness and your extra portion of splendiferousness, the man, woman, or farmyard animal of your dreams walked up to you and said, "Hello, would you mind awfully if I practiced my oral sex technique on you?" That is the level of splendiferosity that I'm feeling tonight. It's been a sensationally good day in many, many different ways, from a little thing like defrosting the Momo freezer, ready for a large influx of Momos for me and for you to share, because I like to share with you. Oh, my little currant buns, you mean the world to me. Honestly, you do. And I would like to squeeze you and tickle you and nibble at you until you wet yourselves. Oh, I really would. And I will do one day. You see if I don't. Um, Up to big things like a massive worry being lifted off my metaphorical shoulders, and other really splendid things have happened as well. And I'm going to tell you about them. Some of them, most of them, nearly all of them apart from one, I'm going to tell you about. I'm not going to tell you completely about them because now we're friends and we don't have secrets from each other, but we do have some information that needs to remain a little bit private for a period of time. And that's the kind of relationship that you and I have got. We have no secrets, we're completely open, we know each other inside out, upside down, and backwards. But we all have private little areas. For example, I don't know what colour underpants Jimmy Quinn is wearing. And that's okay. It doesn't put a bar between our friendship. If I were to have a bounty bar, that chocolate bar where you got two of them, two little turdy things in one wrapping, then I would say to Jimmy, "Here, please, take one, my friend." And then I would remember that I don't like bounty bars because they've got coconut in them, or essence of coconut, and I'm not a fan of coconut. So I would offer the other little turdy thing to Steve Colg, and I would say, "Here, please, take this, my dear chum, and may angels shower down blessings in a never-ending stream." Although, how would they shower them down? I mean, it'd be kind of nice if they showered them down with like an angelic shower head. You wouldn't want angels whittling blessings on you. I mean, I suppose a blessing from an angel is a blessing however it comes. But, if the angel was just squatting over you and whittling blessings on your head, that would kind of take the edge off very slightly in my book. But then that's just me. I mean, for some of you, that might be a dream come true. I mean, you might have spent time enjoying having real people whittling on your head, and having an angel whittling blessings upon you would be taking it to the next level. And that's absolutely fine. Each to their own, as the old lady said when she kissed the cow. Now then, I'm going to have a little slurp of this. Cheers, darlings, and a very happy Diwali to you. It's the last day today. We've had a big celebration at work. I've brought some fantastic, oh, that's nice. I've brought some fantastic food home and I would share it with you, but you're not here, so I can't. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't. Don't come round tomorrow. I want it all for myself. Who have I got? Let's have a look. Steve Colgan, jolly good evening to you. It's kind of you to join me and everybody else in this wonderful community that I'm very much proud to be a part of. We are like, what are we like? We are like the taste the difference section of YouTube. That's what we are, because each and every one of you is such a top of the range community member. You really are. You are the Vanden Ploeg of community members. And I'm trying not to spoil it all by burping. I'm trying to suppress the burp. I'm trying to quell it. Quell. Oh, I've just thought of a feature. Quell. Add a bit of a CH to quell and you get Quelch, who was, of course, a master in the Billy Bunter. Are any of you old enough to remember Billy Bunter? Written by Frank Richards, of course. So, feature number one, I mean, obviously I want your Father Ted references. I want your Fawlty Towers references. I want to know what you had for dinner. I want to know how your day's been. Have you ever sniffed a partner's underwear? I'd like to know that. But yeah, feature number 1G is name a character from the Billy Bunter novels or television series. There we are. See if anybody else is old enough to remember. Jimmy Quinn is here and says, good evening, Boaty, and a good evening to you, Jimmy. Barry is here, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, who is a chap of considerable splendidness and wonderfulness. And it's an absolute joy to welcome him. So welcome, Barry. And dear me, well, we are unusually blessed, my darlings. We are blessed in much the same way as if we were underneath a veritable coven of angels who were all disrobed from the waist down, completely naked, and they were crouched above us, whittling in unison blessings. And this particular blessing that's being whittled out of the nether regions of a naked angel is my dear friend and yours, Captain Mustard, of the Project Nigel channel, which is a jolly good channel. And if you're not subscribed to Project Nigel, I would be very surprised, and I would urge you to subscribe immediately. In fact, I will pause proceedings while you go and subscribe. And if you are already subscribed to Project Nigel, then go on to a Project Nigel video, the first one that you see, and say, Boaty told me to come here in the comments. Right, go on, you do that, and I will pause for 17.32 seconds. I'm going to the back door, really, to have a puff on a fag, but... Right then, darlings, and that brings us on to feature number 2. Now, let me show you this. Now, this is the menu to a Chinese takeaway that over the years I have frequented once or twice. More often when Chinese Madam was part of my life, and she befriended them in particular, but it has been taken over by some new people. And they introduced themselves to me, a very nice lady indeed, who's now this is weird, and I can't work this out. Now, a lot of Chinese people, when they move to the UK, they take an anglicised name. And she said, you can call me Wendy. That's my English name. I said, what is your Chinese name then? And she said, Linda, which is not really a Chinese name in my book, but there you are. So the menu has been tweaked and the prices have gone up. But I was glad to meet the lady in question, and I was glad to be given a menu. And feature number 12 is, what is number 110 on this menu? And the first person to get it exactly right, it's number 110. The first person to get it exactly right wins. What do you win? Okay, the first person to get it exactly right wins a £2 scratch card, which I will go and personally buy for you. Lottery scratch card I'm talking about. And I will scratch it on a live stream. And if you win, I will send you the winnings electronically. Unless it's a really big amount, and then I'll just pretend it didn't win at all and keep all the money to myself. No, I won't. Of course I won't. You will get every penny of that winning scratch card. If it loses, you'll get absolutely fuck all. But, you know, that's the chance you take, isn't it? And don't complain about it. I'm offering you something for nothing, or for just guessing what dish number 110 is on a Chinese menu. So, you know, you can't grumble. Just take it. That's what I... Now, if it helps, it goes up to number... Gosh, it's a big old menu. It goes up to number 225, which is... No, it doesn't. It goes up to 229, which is a pineapple fritter. And number 1 is hot and sour soup. You are looking for number 110. So get guessing on that one. But it's wonderful to have Mustard here. And yes, gosh, he must have been editing like a fevered mad thing to be here at this time. Either that, or he's just turned up, said, hello, everyone, I'm actually early, and then he's buggered off to do something else. And he'll come back at midnight and say, oh, I had to go and do something else. Wipe his bottom or something. Barry's here. That was nice. Oh, hello. Cheeseburger's here. Good evening, all, says Cheeseburger. Evening to you. Boaty, Mustard. Russ is here. Hello, all. Oh, Russ. So, Russ, are you home, mate? Russ must be home. He's no longer in the UK. He's no longer in our backyard. He's back down under, where women blow and men thunder, or chunder. I can't remember which. Or is it the women that thunder? I don't know. Everybody probably farts in Australia. Good evening, all, says Bad Books. Oh, right, yeah. Ross is back. Long old flight, don't sleep well on them. Normal services resumed. I've never slept on an airplane. I've been so drunk I can't walk on an airplane, still didn't sleep. I've been in first class, business class, on overnight flights. I used to do the red eye a lot on Virgin Atlantic to O'Hare, and never ever managed to fall asleep. Just can't do it. Can't sleep in cars either, or on trains. Ben said, oh, hello, Ben is here. Wonderful. Somebody's had a successful audition buffing the table with a woman who does. I haven't, actually. Today's splendid day hasn't involved That's Out of Place. There's not been a single element of pottering today. But there might be tomorrow. Hope springs eternal in the human breast. And yeah, it's been, it's been 6 days, hasn't it? So, yeah, it's about due, really. I mean, once a week for a man of my age is more than enough, isn't it? Yeah. Skick says, it's strange how flights are cheaper than trains in a lot of cases. Indeed. And Ben says, shithouser number 2 in the Boaty hoose. Yes. Yeah, you and Cheeseburger, there's not much between you when it comes to shithousery. As I say, in my mind, you operate as a tag team and you would take on anybody. Kiss the cow, says Mustard. Is he on drugs, says Cheeseburger. No, I am just high on life. And a glass of really nice wine at the restaurant that I certainly couldn't afford, but my God, it was nice. Oh, a really, really good Chablis. because it's a big celebration, the last day of Diwali. They've all been celebrating all day. They got to the restaurant late. Prem, the tandoor chef, was still half pissed, or three quarters pissed, and, uh, and they've had a jolly good night of it. Now, because I had some good news today, then it was my turn to add something to the party. So I went to the supermarket and I bought 4 big cases of chicken legs, and between us we skinned them, we scored them, we made a real kick-ass Nepali marinade. We marinated them, and then we sheik baked them, skewer baked them in the tandoor. So everybody's got some amazing chicken legs to come home with. I've got 3 that are currently sitting in the big fridge, and I will be having at least one of those for lunch tomorrow, possibly 2. I need to check. No, I think I'm going to stretch them out. I need to eat smaller lunches. I have gradually got into the habit, I've crept into the habit of having the same size lunch as I have supper. And as a result of that, I've become a lot fatter than I'm comfortable being. If I have to bend down and do something, I huff and I puff a bit, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I need to lose a bit of weight. And I just need to get back to eating smaller lunches. My rule for lunch used to be that you eat what you can hold in one of your hands. And I've got out of that habit a bit. So I need to throttle back a bit on lunch. So 1 chicken leg with some salad should be absolutely plenty. Maybe just a small handful of chips as it's a celebration. Ross says Diwali fireworks were pretty nice driving from the north back down south on Sunday. Oh, lovely. Andrew says good evening, Boaty and everyone, and a jolly good evening to you, sir. Oh, and we're back onto Father Ted. It's Barry. He's kicking us off. I hear you're racist now, Father. He's off on one tonight, says John Moretzi. Oh, a title from Ben. Yes, it is, of course, your job to name this shenanigans. And our first offering is Widdling Angels Lead to Delight. That's rather clever, actually. We'll screenshot that. Dinner. It was actually lunch at Pennell's, says Cheeseburger. 7 courses, you flash kid. Well, that sounds quite long. We're doing 7 courses on Christmas Day. Gosh, I mean, it's a lot to get through, isn't it? I went to a 7-course tasting menu at a 3 Michelin star restaurant and got a kebab on the way home. 7 courses and still needed a kebab. Greetings, limey-ish people, says Steve Nespo. How is your king these days? Well, he's on good form, to be honest with you. And he's appeared on a YouTube video, believe it or not, as Good King Charles. Good King Charles looked out on the feast of what's his name. Yeah, some chaps were making a YouTube video cycling somewhere in the Scottish Highlands, and they happened upon a fairly elderly chap walking with a stick, and it turned out to be King Charles. And they had a lovely chat with him and they filmed it. What a nice fellow. Now, I've never met King Charles, but I did meet Prince Charles, and he was the same chap. It's just before he metamorphosized from a prince into a king. And he was a splendid chap in my book, an absolutely splendid chap. And I was very proud to work for the Prince's Trust as a thingammy. I've forgotten the word. I've forgotten what we were described as, but we're a mentor. We we successful entrepreneurs mentored aspiring entrepreneurs. And I really enjoyed that. That's something I'd like to do again, except that I'm not successful anymore, so I wouldn't be allowed to do it. I could be an unsuccessful entrepreneur and mentor people into how to ruin their life. I'd be good at that. Sit late at night with a bottle of wine, bloody proposing to various women. Oh dear. Now, that has reminded me, I've forgotten a lot of what I've talked about over these live streams that we've been doing for, gosh, just over 13 years we've been doing these now, isn't it? Have I ever gone in depth about my days in the car trade? Have I ever told you all the behind the scenes stories from Portway Motor Centre that went on to become Auto Stockbrokers Limited? Have I told you how I got involved in the first place? Have I told you how we transformed from Golfers News, from Widdling Motor Mag into Golfers News, and then became Portway Motor Centre in car auctions? And have I talked about the amazing people that I worked with, the GOAT, who was like a second father to me, and without his words of advice, I don't think I'd have got through in the way that I have. I mean, I probably have, but I can't remember how much. Have I told you all about Morris Minor, or Mike Shanley, to give him his real name? His son, Richard, who was kind of my best mate, and we ran the place together, and he's off in Spain now. He's a rich man, successful man. God, he's old, though. He doesn't look old. He still looks about 22, but he is old. That's scary. But then I'm old as well. It's weird that we're both the same age as old people, because in my mind, we're both still in our 20s or early 30s. I mean, he's got two daughters in their 20s. I changed their nappies, for God's sake, because God knows he wouldn't do it. He tried to, and we were left in charge of his firstborn. And we had to change a nappy. We did it on the showroom floor next door to a Bentley Turbo R, I think it was. And he sort of said, well, as the proud father, and thank God he was the father, there was a horrible rumor going around. It's a really unfortunate thing. This is actually true. 9 months before his firstborn was born, and they'd been trying for a child for a while, they had a raving argument. And of course, at that time, Cheeseburger, there are two massive flats above the showrooms. I lived in one on my own. I think I was on my own at the time. Originally, I lived there with Sasha. Then I was on my own. And then there was a time when it was towards the end, when it was my company flat, and Maggie and the kids would come down and stay there sometimes. But at that point, I was on my own, and Richard was next door with Jessica, and they had a raving argument. And Jess came and stayed the night with me because she couldn't bear to be there with him. And that was that. And then suddenly she was pregnant after trying for a while, and like 9 months to the day, the child was born, and it didn't look unlike me. I mean, thank God. Holly has turned into an absolutely beautiful young woman. But when she was first born, she didn't look unlike. Maybe I just look like a crying baby. But oh dear me, yeah, there was a bit of talk for a while, so yeah, we were left in charge of Holly, and it was the first time that Rich had been left in charge of his firstborn, and she needed a nappy changing. So I mean, it's a bit like Three Men and a Baby, if you remember that film. There's the two of us, and we've got this foul-smelling child, and Richard said, being the proud dad, said, right, I'll take charge. Assume the position, Hal, he said. Put it down on the showroom floor. Assume the position. I remember those words. Unfasten the nappy. I said, Jesus, I can't do this. He couldn't do it. And of course, I had I had not inconsiderable experience of feces, having worked in care. My mother ran a care home. Uh, I was paid or unpaid or voluntary or involuntary or forced labour, and I was just purely because of mum. It was never anything that I particularly wanted to do. Well, I was quite passionate about it. I remain quite passionate about care of the elderly, but it's something that I always worked in on and off until really quite recently, until my divorce. Because of course Maggie, my wife, was in the same field, so it's something I've always been involved in. I am I'm trained in quite. I mean, I can't remember the exact qualifications that I've got, but I'm qualified to manage a residential home. I'm not qualified to manage a nursing home because I'm obviously not RGN, but I am qualified to run a residential home, and I do have mental health qualifications. I'm PICU registered, this, that, and the bleeding other. But the point is, I'm used to shit. So, oh God, yeah, we changed that nappy on the floor. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Happy days. There were happy days as well. Good evening, Boaty, says John, and good evening, chat. And how are you, John? How are you feeling, mate? How's the recuperation going? Hopefully you're a bit less woozy and groggy than you quite naturally were yesterday, and hopefully you're feeling better and more positive and more optimistic. I hope so anyway, and it's lovely to have you here with us. Dinner tonight was paella, says Jimmy Quinn. How exotic. Barry, play the fucking note. Diddly do. Now, controversial. Controversial. Now, Mustard and I had similar videos going out tonight, and they were both of a conversation that we had in the car on Monday, where Mustard was asking which is the better car, Nigel or Stigbert. And Stephen S. Paul is controversially saying Nigel is the better car, and Jimmy Quinn is agreeing. Nigel is the better car. Nigel isn't the better car. And the arguments that were made, I didn't think of it at the time. I thought of them now. A lot of the arguments that were made were about personality or presence on the internet or famousness. Right, that's a totally separate thing. In terms of just a car, then Nigel is a 2003 mid-range Rover 25, and Stigbert is also a 2003, but a top of the range MG ZT 190 plus. So obviously Stigbert is a better car, just in terms of being a car. So, and that was what Mustard said, which is a better car. And strictly in car terms, it's obviously Stigbert. He's more expensive, he's better built, he's better quality, he's better engineered, he drives faster, he's more luxurious, he's better equipped. In everything that matters, he is simply better. But if he'd have couched the question differently, which is the more enjoyable car, or which is the more, which car has the best personality, which car would most people like to own, then that would be a different thing. But strictly in terms of a car, there is no argument. An MG ZT 190 Plus is a better car than a Rover 25. Simple as that. Better engineered, more modern, less cost cutting, bigger, more luxurious, faster, better equipped, more comfortable. Yeah, all of those things. Didn't take long, says Ben. He's obsessed with back doors. At least Mr. Boaty's puttering lube is to hand. It really is. There it is. I'll just keep that handy for tomorrow. Thursday is pottering day. Pottering all day long. Well, Mustard's agreeing with Jimmy, but Cheeseburger also seems to be agreeing with Jimmy. It works for a start. Stigbit works. Stigbit's fine now. He's legal. He's MOT'd and everything. Yes, Nigel is the better car, says Bad Books. He even has a better horn. That's all he's got that's better. He's not a better car. No, I love Nigel. I love Nigel like an errant child. I adore him. I think he's cute. I love him to bits. I fell for him ages and ages ago. I spent a couple of days with him and he was fabulous. But that's Nigel. That's the thing that Nigel is. And Nigel is fabulous and I love him. But we're talking about a car. And strictly as a car, then the car is a 21-year-old Rover 25 shed. And you can't compare that with a ZT 190 Plus. You just can't. Well, I didn't quell that, did I? Oh, dear. Oh, right. We're guessing on the Chinese menu, and it is number... Can't we win a free meal for two at that Chinese? Bloody hell, Bad Books. That's pushing it a bit. Hang on. How much is the set meal for two? Fuck that. That's £19.50. I'm not giving you £19.50. Look, I'll give you a scratch card if you win. And, you know, if you win 20 quid, you can have the set meal for two. £19.50. Who do you think I am? It's not Mustard you're dealing with here. Yeah, we're guessing number 110. And I've forgotten what it is now. But Skick has guessed chicken chow mein. Let's have a look. Oh, where's it gone? Ah, there it is, 110. Well, 0 points. 0 points there, Skick, I'm afraid. It's not chicken, it's not chow, and it's not main. So, yeah, no. I forgot about the horn, says Mustard. My dear boy, I know you. You never forget about the horn. Poor old Mrs. Mustard. John's had a nice quiet day resting. That's good. Item 110, says Cheeseburger. Boaty's cheesy balls coated in a light batter. No. No, Cheeseburger. 0 points to you. Oh, Mustard says, no, I am here. I edited 2 videos before you started. Oh, well, this is a rare treat. I dedicate this live stream to you then, dear boy. Good to hear, John, says Ben. Glad things are going okay. I echo that. I'm sure we all do. Jimmy Quinn says, Boaty needs the blue tables to get the horn. And I assume he means tablets there. And I can assure you, Jimmy Quinn, I don't. If I needed the little blue tablets to get the horn, then Chinese Madam and I would still be together because all of her morning efforts would be to no avail. Unfortunately, I don't need the little blue tablets, and she took full advantage of that. And that's why we are no longer together. And I still don't need them. First thing every morning, first job every morning, I wake up, I think, I look out the window, see what the weather's doing. This is sad, but I have a look at my iPad, see what has flashed up in the night. And then I think, oh, I really need a wee. And then I think, oh, I've got an enormous erection. So I tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a glass of ambition, yawn and stretch and try to face the day. I like 9 to 5. I like Dolly Parton. What a splendid woman. And yeah, I stumble my way to the bathroom. I slam my little tinkle in the bathroom door to get the thing to subside so that I can lower myself onto the lavatory and poke it through, which you can't do when it's pointing up at the bloody ceiling. And I've made no secret of this, darlings. I am a seated whittler. When you clean your own toilet, it's a blessing. And if there's one thing I'd change about my life, if I could go back and change things, one thing I would change is I would transgress to becoming a seated whittler much, much sooner. In fact, I'd have done it from day one. I didn't take it on Monday. Oh, Andrew's back to work. Enjoy the rest of the live stream. Enjoy your day at work, sir. Once a week, don't mind the creaking, says Ben. Stephen S. Paul says everything looks tidy in the old cottage today. It's really not. It's an absolute bomb site, this kitchen. I mean, I have been working in the kitchen today. I've been doing some cleaning. I've been doing mopping, and I've defrosted the main freezer because there's going to be a lot of momos going into that freezer very, very soon. And it's just a bomb site, an absolute bomb site. I need a day or two to get back on top of everything. Don't know why I'm doing that. Diddly-do. Neil's here. Hello all, how are we doing? Hello, Neil. Lovely to have you here. Boaty's becoming a chunky monkey, says Steve. I am. I'm getting so fat. I'm getting so fat, and I really need to do something about it. Cheeseburger says 7 courses. This was a tasting menu at a Michelin restaurant. I've just had a bag of cheese and onion. Oh, there you go. Boaty's becoming like that Michael Winner fellow. Great director, though. Lots of decent movies too. I liked Michael Winner. I used to talk to him on when I first joined Twitter. I'll be honest with you, darlings. I've never been a Twitterer. I don't like it. But I did join up to Twitter in the very early days. And ironically enough, the only person that I ever spoke to very, very regularly and at length was Michael Winner, oddly enough. I fired off a question about Burt Lancaster when he was directing Burt Lancaster. And I just said, bear in mind I was big friends with Clive James at the time, and I did used to follow Winner's Dinners and that sort of thing. And I just fired off a question. I said, just out of interest, was Burt Lancaster as big a prima donna as Clive made him out to be? And he said, Clive? Who's Clive? So I explained that Clive James had said that Lancaster had a reputation as a terrible prima donna, and to try and forestall any issues, Michael Winner treated him like a demigod. And I just asked about that, and we chatted about it, and then we just kept chatting until he coughed it, bless him. Not, every night, but very, very regularly. I like Michael Winner. I think he had a good sense of humor. He appeared on The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer on their fake chat show, the Stots. And he was all right in my book, was Michael Winner. He was all right. And he knew his food, I'll give him that. And he knew his wine as well. Well, sign me up for the Prince's Trust, says Ben. 101 pottering positions course, mentored by the Right Reverend JPH. Skick has got a question. Do you think your past car sales experience has helped with the used car business with Mustard? No, Skick, not in the least. Not in the least. Actually, let's think about that. I'll answer that properly, Skip, because I think it's an interesting question. I was never what you would call a salesman. I was a genuine enthusiast. And what I believe is when you're dealing with when you're dealing with something that relates to an enthusiast or some element of enthusiasm, then you can't do a sales pitch. You can't do a hard sell because it will stand out like a priest in a whorehouse. What I used to do when I ran the car business was I was just enthusiastic. Now, I might have been particularly enthusiastic about a particular car that I was trying to sell, but I was genuinely enthusiastic. And I shared that enthusiasm with somebody who was potentially interested in buying it. And that was my sales technique, if you like, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. I never did a hard sell. I never could do a hard sell. You might think that I could chat the hind leg off a donkey, and you might think I could sell ice to the Eskimos, but I really, really can't. I can when I'm having fun, but I can't do it with any level of I can't genuinely do it. It would be soul destroying if I had to do that on a daily basis. I've never had an out and out sales job. I could never have worked at a car main dealer. I can't do a hard sell. I have to believe in what I'm selling, and I have to genuinely be enthusiastic about it. Now, under those circumstances, I'm pretty good. But it has to be genuine. I can't fake it. So that's what I did when I had the car business, and I sold stuff that I was enthusiastic about. So I was never in a situation where I had to fake it. And because of the business model, because we were a brokerage, I never had to lie. I never had to cover anything up. So I don't think it's helped with what I'm doing with mustard, only because I'm doing the same now as I did then. But that's not down to experience of car sales. That's down to just who I am. And I'm exactly the same as mustard. We sell things that we love, that we're genuinely enthusiastic about, and we're very, very honest about them. And that's not a skill, that's not a technique, and that's not something born of experience. That's just two honest men offering for sale something that they love and probably don't want to sell. So that's my honest answer to that. By appointment to His Majesty King Charles III, Boaty's Pozzering Lube, highly recommend. Oh God, highly recommended by Prince Andrew as an anti-aging cream. Fucking hell, cheeseburger. Oh, it's now the King's Trust. Yes, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? Some good wishes going to John. That's nice. No corpse swap. Thank you. I have a quiz for everyone, says Ross. A Jim will fix it badge for anyone who can guess the time on the broken clock in the caravan. What caravan? I've been drinking like a mad Egypt, says Paul Smortion. Boaty, says Bad Books. What's worth more, an MG-ZT or Focus RS Mark II? ZT, easy. Award-winning arse wiping skill. I was a brilliant arse wiper. We had that. There is a video, a really, really good video. It's actually one of my favorite videos. It is one of my very favorite Mustard and Boaty videos, and it goes way back. And it goes way back to the very early days, and I'm trying to remember what the hell it's called. It's the top 10. Oh God, what was it? I think it started out as the top 10 fuel-saving tips or something like that. And as usual with us, it just degenerated as we went through the top 10. And somehow, I can't remember how, we ended up talking about wiping arses on a professional basis. God, it was so funny. And must have just lost the plot at the end. It's one of my very, very favorite videos. And when this is finished, I'm going to go and watch it and maybe you should too if you haven't already. And even if you have already, go and watch it again. What was the line that Mustard lost it to? And it kind of finished the video. Oh God, I can't remember. Oh, is it something about wishing my life away? And we'd both just lost the plot by that point. That was a brilliant video. Now, one day when we're rich and famous, and we are going to become rich and famous because Mustard and Boaty Do Lunch is about to go, well, I say about, within the next few months, Mustard and Boaty Do Lunch is about to go stratospheric because we are taking it to the next level. We've done lunch with each other. We've done lunch with some of our friends, but we're going to now also be doing lunch with celebrities, and it's going to become massive. And when it does, and people go through our back catalogue, they'll find that top 10 fuel saving tips video, and they'll look at that and they'll say, well, the genius was apparent all along. The chemistry, the genius, the comedy. Why didn't we recognize these two as the as the new two Ronnies? We should have seen it coming. That's what they'll say. Oh dear. And then we'll have an artistic fallout, and one of us will go and make open all hours and porridge and make a fortune. And the other one will go and make sorry and make somewhat less of a fortune, but end up being impersonated very well by Rob Brydon. God, you know you've made it when Rob Brydon impersonates you. Oh dear. I've hardly told you anything about today, and it's been the most splendid of days. I hope you've had a lovely day as well. Our Boaty is a man of many vices, says Stephen S. Paul, and workbenches. Well, indeed. One is underrated, the other is overrated, says Mustard. And he's probably talking about, well, I don't know what he's talking about there. It could be the ZT and the Focus, or even the ZT and the 25. Oh, bollocks, Neil, you're talking absolute hairy arseholes. Sorry, Boaty, but I do agree Nigel is a better car. As much as I love a ZT, he has much more presence. But that's bollocks, Neil. That's presence doesn't relate to a car. Presence relates to an emotion, a sensation that's engendered. But in terms of just a car, you can't argue. Well, you can argue, but you'd be very wrong, and I would sit on your head to teach you a lesson. You can't argue that a Rover 25 is a better car than a ZT. It just isn't. I mean, when cars are new, a telltale sign to how good they are is how much the company charges for it. Now, a Rover 25 and an MG ZT were made by the same company, right? One was a lot more expensive than the other. Why? It's a better car. And Rover knew it. MG Rover knew it, and you know it as well. Now, if it was genuinely Nigel versus Stigba, then, well, if I was honest, if I put my hand on my heart, Nigel beats pretty much anything. Nigel's fantastic. But that's as a theoretical entity, as a YouTube entity, as a celebrity thing. In terms of just being a car, a ZT is better than a 25. End of story. Much better. Much better. I own two 25s and I love them. But I'm not going to say that they're a better car than the ZT because they're not. They are less good quality. They are less well manufactured. They are less well equipped. They are less fast. They are less luxurious. They are less powerful. They're just less. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. I love my 25s. You know that. But a 25 is not a better car than a ZT. End of story. And I'm glad we got that sorted. Video title, Boaty Loves Nigel. Somebody else. Everybody's doing the same line. I hear you're a racist now, Father. Nigel has been handcrafted, says Stephen S. Paul, with love and lots of care and attention to detail. You've never driven the fucking thing. You wouldn't say that if you sat in it. Love and lots of care and attention to detail, my fucking ass. The fucking roof lining is hanging down like a pair of baggy wife fronts on a 93-year-old alcoholic. Speaker covers are missing. Bits of the seats are missing. The airbag doesn't work. The steering wheel is codged on. The air conditioning doesn't work. Attention to detail. Bloody hell, you're having a laugh. Sorry, I just need to remember that line. The headlining is hanging down like a 93-year-old alcoholic's dirty wife runs. I like that. I'm going to remember that one. Oh dear. Calling Nigel a shed, says Jimmy Quinn. How dare you? We should do a driving challenge thingy, says Mustard. Well, we've done a parking challenge and we've done a smooth driving challenge. What driving thingy challenge did you have in mind? I mean, you've talked about doing an acceleration test, but I mean, you can't do that. You haven't got anything that's going to beat any of mine. I'd piss all over you in an acceleration test. Sheeson would beat Nigel. The ZT would, well, either the ZT or even Sir Richard and Lady Morris would beat the 420 GSI Tourer. The MGF would batter everything in sight. So what challenge did you have in mind? A turning heads challenge or something? Dan Peters says, and good evening, Dan. Good evening, everyone. Would you consider doing a mile per tank car challenge? Yeah, why not? We don't need to know about an old man's erection, the 8-horn shouty thing. Now, I love the 8-horn shouty thing. That was the video that turned me on to Mustard. I found his videos. I've explained this before. People often ask how Mustard and I met. I didn't know anything about YouTube. I searched for some information on a Rover 75. It brought up YouTube. It brought up Hubnut. And I watched that and I thought, this is brilliant. I had no idea this sort of thing went on. Didn't know YouTube could do this. I didn't know normal people put videos on YouTube. And I thought Hubnut was amazing. I thought it was revelatory. And then one of Mustard's videos came up as a recommended thing. And I watched that and I thought, oh, really? Interesting. And then he did the 8-horn shouty thing. And that was it. I thought, this is the man that's going to be my best friend in the world. I understand this man and he will understand me. I thought the 8-horn shouty thing was absolutely fantastic. That's a video of Mustard's that I watch still quite regularly. Oh, God. To the tune of the R. White's Lemonade advert. I'm not singing that, Cheeseburger. But interesting fact that you probably all know, the R. White Lemonade advert was Elvis Costello and his dad. Don't upset the neighbour with the noise, slamming your tinkle in the bathroom door. The mornings are okay. They get up early and go out and do things. I think she still goes to work and Nick goes out on his bike or one of his bikes or in one of his cars and they do things. I mean, bless him. I mean, by all accounts, he was a jolly good policeman person. And he took early retirement and he's enjoying it. And bless him for that. He's got a huge collection of motorbikes, a huge collection of amazing cars. They spend time in America. They travel various other places for a week here and a week there. They last time they were away, they went to the Middle East. They own property locally. Fair play to them. Cheeseburger. You think you're going to catch me out on this? Buying a car is like making love to a beautiful woman. Who said it? Swiss Tony. Obviously, Swiss Tony. Oh no, now I'm going to eat Volvo. Oh, and Bad Book says Swiss Tony, was he based on Boaty? Oh dear. Oh, a brick called Wilfred, says Steve Nesport. Yes. Way too many moments to remember, says Mustard. And I mean, you're right, they have. And a lot of them haven't been captured on video, but then a lot of them have. And one day when we're both old and knackered, even more old and knackered than we are now, when we're sitting next door to each other in an old people's home, in the naughty corner because we won't behave ourselves, and we're waiting for Mrs. Mustard to bring us a kebab from Istanbul, we'll be sitting on our iPads watching our old videos. Oh dear. Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Whittle says, nice to see you live tonight. Thank you for being here. What's your job when you're not on doing YouTube with Nigel? Sorry to ask. Don't be sorry. My job when I'm not doing YouTube or mucking about with Nigel is running a restaurant, fine dining Nepali fusion restaurant. Well, I say running it, pretending to. I did run it a bit tonight, actually. It was quite good. We had enough staff today. It was brilliant. We actually had enough staff, and I was able to do what I want to do, which is to oversee everything, to just watch the restaurant, watch the pass, watch out for mistakes, watch out for, and just schmooze with the customers. And it was brilliant. Tonight really, really worked. We were busy. We gave impeccable service. The food was amazing, and every single one of the customers were absolutely super duper happy. And not particularly with me. And I think that's the way it should be. I think that I'm kind of like a secret weapon, that I should just be there in the background. But a couple of customers had such great service tonight that one of them, bless him, a lovely lady, Sabana had waited on their table. And Sabana is brilliant. You know him. You've seen him on videos. And she specifically came over to shake his hand and thank him. And she did that American thing. I saw her do it. And there was a folded up £20 note in the hand when she shook his hand. And that's the way it should be. They should be really grateful to the wait staff who are the ones who wait on her. I should just be somebody in the background that is just checking that everything's okay and this, that, and the other, and whatnot. And it was great tonight. Yeah, I was running in between front and the pass. We had so much staff tonight. So we had a new guy running the. He's not new. He's from Claycross, but he's new to us. I think it might just have been a one-off, but it was great to have him tonight. And so he was running the pass. I've got Sabana and Parbina out front of house, and I was just able to oversee. And that's when the service is really good, when the guys have got time to do their job properly, when I've got time to keep an eye over everything, so that, because if you wait staff are running around, they're not going to see everything. Whereas, I will see when a glass is empty, or when the last morsel of the last plate is done. And so it was just great. I really enjoyed tonight. Damn it, I'm late again, says Simone. Good evening, Simone. Lovely to have you with us. God, look, the time has flown. It's midnight, and I've not done or said anything that I intended to do or say. I'm sorry about that. Just been a bit off on one tonight, and no, so I better rattle through the comments. There could be some really good stuff, and then start cleaning my kitchen up. Oh, and get some supper. It's been a fabulous day. I'm feeling incredibly happy and positive. Oh, what was the one thing I was going to tell you? Yeah, one of the positive things that happened today, I told you that in terms of Mustard and Boaty do lunch, I said we've sent 3 invitations and we've had 3 theoretical acceptances. One of those theoretical acceptances has turned into an actual date. And I mention it in the daily diary, I think. So we've got one actually not penciled in, but byroed into the old diary. So it's going to happen, darlings. Mustard and Boaty do celebrity lunches, and I can't wait. We had a phone call today, me and Mustard. We needed to speak about something else, and that came into it, and we're just double excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Father Jack had a pet brick. He did indeed, Bad Books. Nigel is a project, says Cheeseburger. Nothing a decent self-prep respray couldn't finish off. Well, I agree with that. Hi, Simone, says Cheeseburger. Join the row about 25 versus ZT. Neil says, I agree. A standard rover 25 versus a ZT 190 plus, the ZT would take it hands down. But the fact that you're putting a standard ZT 190 against Nigel, who has charming buckets, and it's just, yeah, but that's not a car. That's a separate thing. I would agree with you about the character that Nigel is, but in terms of just a car, I win. Hello there, Father Curly, says Simone. Your ZT, says Jimmy Quinn, must be the worst ZT on the road. No, it really isn't, actually. It's one of the, well, actually, Jimmy, it's one of the best ones. It was owned by, an MG specialist mechanic. Mechanically, it's absolutely superb. It's wanted for nothing, and it's low mileage. Why would it be one of the worst on the road? What an odd thing to say. The airbags don't work in your... Bugger off, Neil. They will work. I've never driven a Rover 25 or an MG ZT, says Simone, so I can't comment. You wouldn't have been playing Fuel Jeopardy in Nigel. Well, I would have, because the Fuel Jeopardy wasn't because of bad economy. It was because of a closed garage. That, that's nothing to do with. And besides which, I like uneconomical cars. I do. I like them. Mustard very eruditely pointed out that one of the things about an expensive, powerful, uneconomical car is that it's a status symbol. It says, I can afford to be uneconomical. And I like that. I had a Jensen Interceptor Series 3, and that I recorded over a day 7.3 to the gallon. I love that. I absolutely love that. The more uneconomical a car is, the more I love it. And generally speaking, the more economical it is, the less I will love it. It's the gas guzzlers that are the real good fun cars. I love a Bentley Turbo R. Right. Is that economical? No. Is it fabulous? Yes. They're amazing. You should have one. Try a dogging challenge in either car. That's a good shout. I'd be well and truly up for a dogging challenge or a curb crawling challenge. Pottering a dodgy hooker in the back seat. Actually, that would be a good challenge, actually. I'm trying to think which cars I have actually. I haven't done it in any of my cars. I don't think any of the current fleet. Have I? No, I haven't. The last one was. Have I? No, I haven't. Not in the current fleet. The last one was my Ford Galaxy. And then, and the C-Max. And then before that, my S-Type Jag. And before that, my Lexus RX. And before that, well, pretty much all of them. But no, none of the current crop. So yeah, there is a challenge to be had. Rear seat podgering, a podger off. That's what we need. A fleet podger off. The 420 would beat the ZT. Oh, don't talk bollocks, Mustard. The 0 to 60 figures on the 420 GSI, and I checked this out this morning, 9.8, 0 to 60. 0 to 60 figures on the ZT 190, 7.1. So I don't think so. Neil says, let me get the ZT 160 misfire sorted and I'll piss all over you in mine. And I'll bet you breakfast at the hotel. I'll beat you on an MPG run. Oh, now then, there's a challenge. Oh, God, 1.8 turbo. Yeah, you're going to beat me on an MPG run. So I'm not going to take that bet. But I'll be quicker. You won't be pissing all over me, Neil. No chance. And you see, you're having a go at me about my airbags. You've got a bloody misfire. At least I run properly. Okay, I'll have to die if I have a head-on accident, but at least I run properly. So I'll be going fast enough to die in a head-on accident. Oh, dear. New video title. Boaty and Mustard get a room. Oh, now they're talking fuel economy. That's boring. Oh, tell them who it is, says Mustard. Oh, shall I? Shall I? Shall I tell them all of them? Hang on. A slight misfire, you tosser. Stephen S. Paul says, for $2,000, you could be the owner of our George Floyd, the 89 Bentley Turbo R we have in the yard. We named George for obvious reasons. What a piece of shit. It rides nice, though. Hold on. Boaty ZT, owned by a specialist, crashed by a dog. Fuck off, cheeseburger. Go and fuck a lamppost. Oh, dear. Pottering in the back of my Cortina would be a breeze, says Simone. Well, you can join in the challenge. Bollocks, says Mustard. Okay, right. Mustard has said I should tell you about the 3 celebrities that we are going to be doing lunch with. And so, okay, I will tell you. I'll pour a glass of wine. I will tell you, and then I will bugger off. Oh, this is exciting, actually. Yeah, admittedly, I nicked that off you, Mustard. I give you credit for that line. Right, I'm going to tell you. Actually, does anybody want to guess? I will give you 60 seconds if you want to have a quick guess who has agreed to do lunch with Mustard and Boaty. There are 3 of them. And what the fuck was that? There are 3 people and one is coming with a +1. Do you want to have a guess? I'll give you a minute and then I will tell you exactly what's happening. I should do because this is a live stream and this is where I tell you things. Have a guess. Go on. I'll just prepare my supper. Oh, and look at my. Check that out. All defrosted. Oh, that's a good title. Whittle Wars, Angel versus Gibbons. Okay, so some guesses coming. Is it some guessings coming in? Right, I'm going to tell you. What are the guesses? Hubner, Boris Johnson, Hillary Clinton, Chops Garage, Furious Driving, Chops Garage, the King of England. Right, I'll tell you. The three people so far, and this is just the beginning because we're going to be going at this properly. Gail from Coronation Street. God above. Nigel Farage. He's in Australia, isn't he? He's in Australia with Tony Bellew, and I hope Tony Bellew gives him a good old right-hander. And I don't mean a wank. Prince Andrew. Oh, God, here we go. Okay, the three confirmed, the three acceptances we have in no particular order, but I'll start with the ones who haven't got a confirmed date. So I suppose there is a particular order. Jeremy Clarkson, God, I wish. Okay, the first one, none of these will probably come as a surprise to you. Giselle Maxwell, bloody hell. The one that is likely to be first is, drum roll, yeah. The one that is likely to be first is, I've forgotten his name. The one who's likely to be first is Mr. Steve Berry, the ex-Top Gear presenter for 6 years, the presenter of The Bike's the Star, and latterly a star on Radio Wales. So he is likely to be the first Mustard and Boaty do celebrity lunch. And that one's going to be interesting because, well, I mean, will we get a word in Edgeways? That is the question. Number 2 has been guessed by Bad Books. Number 2 is Mr. Joseph Lloyd of Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. And he will be... Yeah, exactly, cheeseburger. Is Mr. Joseph Lloyd, but he will be bringing a +1. So it's going to be Mustard Does Lunch with the Beige Bomber and the Rubbish Mechanic. So, yeah, Mr. Joseph Lloyd and Mr. Coleman have agreed to come and do... Oh, Allegro, man, I hadn't thought of that. It's good to talk unendingly. Oh, dear. Okay, and number 3... Number 3, so we've got Steve Berry, Top Gear. We've got the one and only Mr. Joseph Lloyd, complete with, and in addition to, Mr. Coleman, Rubbish Mechanic. James Coleman, that's the chap. And number 3 is the one that has been confirmed, and it's been confirmed for the 2nd of January. So might not be the first one. I think it will probably be the second one. But 2nd of January isn't all that far away, is it, my lovelies? And on the 2nd of January, Mustard and Boaty will be doing lunch with JM on Cars. And there you go. That is the 3 so far. And we've only invited 3. So far, we've got 100% success record. So we will see we will see how we get on as we move on to others. And if you've got somebody that you think that we should invite, then do let us know. Or if there's somebody that you would love us to have lunch with, then let them know and tell them to get in touch with us and say, go and have lunch. Go and do lunch with Mustard and Boaty. Bar stewards, says Simone. And is JM bringing a decent car for you to review? All things are possible, Cheeseburger. All things are possible. Oh, yes, says Ben, but which shirt will he wear for such an auspicious occasion? Well, this is a question. What will we wear? Will Mustard turn up in his night attire with a prominent pottering pole? Honest to God, it's it's going to be so interesting just to see how we react when we're in a situation like that. I did see Simone. I saw that Connie was booked in for bodywork. That's good. Booked in for the old Sills, isn't it? So there we are, darlings. That is it for Wednesday Night Live. You are well and truly up to speed. What else we got to? Oh yeah, other news, Mustard Boaty news. A car left the yard today, or was it yesterday? Oh, it was yesterday. Yeah, another car is sold and left the yard, and today we have bought another car. We have bought another car. And shall I tell you what that is? Oh, I'm telling you everything else. I might as well. We have bought 2023 year of the Tourer. We have bought a Rover 75 Tourer, and it is in the yard even as we speak. So there we are. That's up to speed. Cars have sold and gone away. Another car will be going away very, very soon. We've bought a car and we're doing lunch with some YouTube celebrity type people. And I've had a really good day. John has had a restful day. Mustard has been here throughout the live stream, which is unheard of. Simone has got Connie booked in. We've got a driving challenge coming up where we have to podger various people in the back of various cars. So that's something to look forward to. I didn't tell them that you bought a Rover 75. And that really is about it for tonight. So say your good night, my darlings. It is time to go. It's actually 19 minutes past time to go, but don't think that this has to be an end to it, because it doesn't. We will be doing this all over again. Same time, same place tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Windy bum. Oh. Oh, Cheeseburger won't be here. Oh, well, never mind. Never mind. There'll be a bit less shithousery, but Ben, could you do double shithousery tomorrow to make up for Mustard? To make up for Cheeseburger, please. Thank you. Oh, and I took Wet Leg to work tonight, and she was fantastic. I've had a really good night. And that really is it. So a jolly good night to you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your continued and continual support. Thank you to Mustard for making two very entertaining videos where he wrongly argues that a 25 is better than a ZT. And thank you all for watching them and agreeing with me that the ZT is a vastly superior car in every discernible sense. Darlings, have yourself a safe and peaceful night. I couldn't love you any more than I do, and I'm so grateful to you all. Continued best wishes to John. Ross, so glad that you got home safely. And the rest of you, quite right, Simone. Good night to you as well. Oh, and yeah, if you want to tickle that like button, that would be lovely. So have a safe and peaceful night. Take great care of yourselves. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. And all the love in the world from me. And I can't wait to see you again tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. Don't miss it. Thank you and good night. You know, it makes total sense.